Happy Sunday here at Maryland. Of course, Cali Frontal. Keith Fustel with me. Keith, a little bit chillier today as that track is looking pretty good. We've got a fast track for this Sunday day of racing. Did you see did you pick up any kind of bias from yesterday, Keith?
You wanted to lay fairly close. You wanted to be in range for the most part. By the time you hit the quarter pole, a couple lengths, it seemed most of those winners were in position to get it done. Prodigy Doll maybe came from a little bit further back, had that pace battle to set things up around the turn. They went pretty hot and heavy around the turn. The other Rob horse and Hammy's horse, but Prodigy Doll was the beneficiary with a good run in the center of the track to get it done. So, yeah, we've had maybe a little bit of a lean towards speed over this racetrack. Not as fast, just at times were a little bit pedestrian, I thought, for the most part, when looking at the levels and what they usually run.
We'll see what we come up with today for Sunday. Race number 1 kicks off the early pick 5, of course. And that race number 1 starts off with a maiden claiming 12.5, going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt. Keith, let's take a look. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at that video right away that we have on Whiskey Mischief for Hugh McMahon, Javian Toledo. Potentially big enough day for Hugh McMahon today.
Yeah, it broke a little bit slow that day. Just maybe the slightest of hops, head turn, and a bounce around from both sides. We've got that comment as a jostled at the break and showed that speed that we thought he was going to show in this spot. He was coming out of sprints. There were some quick horses that he faced at Delaware. Caught a field. Got away with some slower fractions when it was all said and done. A little drift late, but having to use itself early definitely cost. I don't know if he was going to be able to still fend off Bonded, who kind of rolled right on by Cali.
Right.
But
I agree.
He looks to be with a clean break, going out to 2 turns, which might even be better for his speed, to go ahead and carry it today against this group. With that cleaner break, he will be the target.
He's looking pretty tired. He's looking pretty tired right there. So I think it was a combination of 2 things. I think it was the break that took a little bit out of him, but again, not enough to overcome the winner in that race. But on top of that, that was the first time that horse got to the clear lead. And sometimes when they get like that, they can get a little sleepy, get a little green. So that wasn't necessarily green, but just maybe not quite paying attention and enough on task. On top of that, it did take enough out of him. But let's go ahead and talk about your top selection, the Foul Nation for Jamie Ness, Jaime Rodriguez in the inside rail for this race.
It's like when I put these selections up, I'll let you know if this is my top horse. Okay, I'll let you. This is not really my top horse, but I think in the race it's a value standpoint. So if you can go ahead and bet a couple bucks to win, I think he's going to hold some value. So, I guess the 2's maybe your most likely winner with the Lasix coming back on. But let's stick with Foul Nation. Jamie Ness won the opener yesterday. He had a couple. Another horse ran second, another one ran third. But he's 6 for 16 with 3-year-old maiden claimers going, stretching out. So I think this works. This is a good move here. Half to a multiple route winner in Hell of a Fire. We're going first Lasix. That's a positive. And again, he caught a field last time out that they just ran away from him early. That opening quarter, 22 and 3. I don't see it going to be that demanding early. So I think he can get position, take a little shot on the breeding, see if he can get it done. First time routing. The 2 you're assuming back on Lasix was the hiccup last time. He just off form. Was it a Lasix situation? Not being on Lasix. He's back today. He's going to take a lot of play. The numbers kind of tower those two route races at Delaware. So he's been able to show the distance with Lasix. Should come back and run much better this afternoon. I don't think we're going to get a huge price in here. Anybody outside of those 3, it's going to be a probably double-digit payout at least.
I agree. Talk about payouts. You hit the early pick 4 payout a couple of days ago. Yeah. Let's see what you have with your ticket today going on for the early pick 4 that starts in race number 2, Keith.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look. We've had some good payouts. I mean, yesterday we had a monster early pick 5. Don't forget about that. Guys, 12% takeout. You can't beat it. Early pick 5 might be the best bet in horse racing. You got a shot. There's no carryover, so you got a chance to really take it down even with 4 if you come up with some prices. But let's talk about the early pick 4. 2 deep in race 2, Cali, with the 4 and the 5. I'll try to upset the 1, Red Queen. I'll go World Party. Viking Queen, got a stat for Kieran. Race 3, 3 deep with the 3, 6, and 7. Thought this was a tricky race for these 3-year-old fillies. 12-5, sprinting. Race 4, 3 deep again. 1, 3, and 5, hot and spicy love. The jam job here Will he find a new home? This guy's been ironed, this 8-year-old. So we'll see if he stays in Maryland after today. Race 5 with the 8 and 9. We'll round it out 2 deep there. Stimulus Maker should be forward a long way. Badger Tooth, a little price user in there for Robbie Bales. Reunited with a Rojo. So there you go. $18.
Race number 2 that starts that early pick 4, and of course Keith's ticket is claiming 8,000. And again, a mile and 16th on the dirt to start our day early. And her scratch in the 3, Emma and I for Kieran McGee. That leaves you with us. Leaves you in my exacta, the number 5 Viking Queen. The other Kieran McGee runner gets J-Ron Barbosa today. You've got a stat.
Battle of the Queens, right? Viking Queen, Red Queen, Viking Queen for Kieran. Kieran Barn rolling right along, right? 3 winners the other day. They ran well yesterday, so hot barn, and he's pretty consistent year in and year out. Past 3 years, though, for this kind of angle, Callie, 6 for 12, 50%, 9 for 12 on the money. First off the claim, dirt routes for this 10,000 or less.
Yes.
That's key. This has been a bread and butter move for him. I mean, he does really well. He just jabs year in and year out with winners, winner after winner. 277. Viking Queen, I think she's got a little bit more established route form than Red Queen. Barbosa, aggressive. Red Queen's last race is okay. She's done all right. I still think she might be a little bit better at 1 turn. Viking Queen with the 2 turns, she's got that experience, aggressive ride. I think she can handle this little bump up in class. Off the claim, look to her for her to be forward a long way in here.
We both have the number 4 underneath as well. World Party for Jamie Nesbitt, Jaime Rodriguez today. That one, especially with the way those 2 queens are going to be going. Both of those queens. World Party just sets up really well. But we did talk about a potential bias playing up today. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Dropping last time out, got behind a contested field. A contested pace, was well back, saving ground, worked an outside trip from the quarter pole home. A little belated run. That field was just a little too good. Deeper field, shorter field here today. Doesn't have to navigate a whole lot. If the 1 and 5 kind of get engaged, look for this one. She can make a steady progression from off the pace with Rodriguez. Yeah, World Party. I think that was a band back in the 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
You tell me, Keith.
I think so. Yeah, that's right. You weren't even around probably back then. Red Queen
not.
though. Red Queen. Red Queen. A good effort last time out, a winning effort, got that position and just went on with it.
Right.
I think this is a little trickier spot. I think she's going to have to work a little bit more. Dirt numbers going longer, they're okay.
Right.
I still think she's a little bit better. She might beat me, but
they're taking a bit of a stab with it for sure.
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, she's won 5 races. She's been good, but let's take a shot with Viking Queen in the second.
I like that. Keith Fusel 5-4-1-2 in the start of the early pick 4. Race number 3 starts the Rainbow pick 6 as we have 8 races on the card today for Sunday. I've got a ticket lined up. I go 3 wide in the start of this leg in that claiming 12-5, and my single all the way down in race number 5.
Okay.
Is sweet. I may have to readjust that. That may have been a typo. I've got a single.
Roll the dice with that price.
No,
I
definitely have a single, but that single is going to be on the 8. That was a typo on my part. So my single is on the 8. Stimulus Maker for Hugh McMahon at 2-1, and that claiming 10,000. That's fine. Race number 7, I go 7 wide in that race, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. I may be stretching a bit wide in that race, but you could go any which direction. So we're gonna, thanks to my team, they're gonna update that ticket and just post that on the website. I appreciate that, guys. But let's go ahead and go to the race that does start the Rainbow Pick 6. That is this claiming 12-5, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-old fillies. Let's take a look at both of our shared top selections. Alas and Alack, a scratch from Friday entered here today, Keith.
Yeah, scratch from a little higher level. That race was won by Hammy's other was Miss Fussy Pants with a big number, 67 by. We talked about that yesterday, but I tell you, good ride here. December the 11th, a couple of horses coming back out of that race, battling Bayless Street, O'Shaughnessy. They're in there. But look at this trip that Rodriguez is able to work out from the back of the pack with Alas and Alack, just cutting the corner, riding the rail. Momentum never stopped, and just kicking and churning and burning, and going to go ahead and get the lead and edge away late. So the key is, can she kind of get that clean trip again? I think she's going to get a battle up front, a contested pace that she's going to be able to target. That's going to be to her benefit. Let's see if she can kind of get from the 3/8 pole to the wire without having to navigate through too much traffic. Lasix going on. We've seen this move first time out with the 3-year-olds for Hammy. It's been good. Miss Fussy Pants, the last couple have hit on the mark with the first Lasix with the 3-year-olds the other day. So that's been a good angle. The barn is doing well. Last and a lack to sit back and make that charge again.
Absolutely. We both also go with the number 3 right underneath Bayless Street for Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez. This one is, of course, no questions or curiosity about it. Your pacemaker of this race today. Handling the 3/4 distance, again, taking another stab at it, I think, off of the layoff is going to help a little bit. Just slowly but steadily getting up there and enough gate speed in this race against others to go about it. But what do you have to say about it?
You're kind of looking at the jockeys here too, right? For Rob. So X-Man lines up here, not on Don't Tell Darren, who when you're looking at it, Don't Tell Darren, a little bit better numbers, a drop. You're thinking, why wouldn't he go there? I'm going to use both of them. I'm going to be safe here and use them both. But you saw in that video, Bayless Street really kind of coming back late, was game. This horse will get position, can sit just off of it. It needed to. I don't think this horse necessarily needs lead. I like the heart that he showed. The Lasix coming back on a factor here with the X-Man. Interesting he goes here. But Don't Tell Darren's race 2 races back, which would clearly beat this field. But I'm just going to trust here in the X-Man. We'll see. 7-3-6-4, and I think a kind of a wide open third.
It is, but we still see it the same way at the start of the first leg of the Rainbow Pick 6. Race number 4 is a claiming 5,000, a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 3 on top. Money in the Banksy for Rudy Sanchez, Solomon Tice, Laio Pustina coming back in the saddle, and she's she's gotten also outside of Suarez and Novella, she's gotten some results on this guy as well and drops down to a really favorable level. Last time we saw this horse at a similar type level, that was just over 7 length lead win.
Yeah, form's been a little erratic. Beating 20 comes back, wins.
Placed a little erratic.
Comes back, runs okay. Yeah, exactly. Placed a little erratic as well. Home court advantage maybe over Hot and Spicy Love. The old kind of back class horse, starter horse, been really, really tough. 15 for 67. But Money in the Banksy, I think they're saying, okay, we're coming back in short rest. We kind of feel we can kind of go to the front with a little drop. Let's see if the 3 can control it.
Let's take a stab at it. Go ahead. Why not, Keith? 3-1, and that's a decent price to take for this one. I go with the number 1 on top, which you have underneath. You just talked about Hot and Spicy Love, just coming over from Penn, just really super consistent. Tyler Connor shipping in for the ride as well. There's really not much to say other than we're just coming in for the drop.
Yeah, they bring the rider. It's key. Beat a 4-5 shot Chrysler runner last time out. And like I say, this guy's been so strong. He's been hickory year in and year out. He's got experience over this racetrack with a couple wins. Perfect trip here. It looks like he's going to draft in a position to go ahead and stalk. I don't know if he'll quite make the first run on the 3. We shall see. But interesting, just kind of a giveaway, though. That's the thing that bothers me. Yeah. I mean, maybe they win and get claimed and they get a little cash out there. But it was like a really 74, and then these buyers are strong the last couple. I know Penn's a little inflated. I just think the 3 holds a little bit more value. And even Welling is interesting. Claimed and dropped, a little scary. But I've seen him jump up on occasion and run big. Anything close to his better race, one of his better, he'll beat this field.
A stretch to see if we get to see that. So, but I like your 3 on top. That's got some logic behind it for Keith Fustel. Race number 5 is a claiming 10,000, which have never won 3, going the 1-turn mile here for the 4-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 9 Badger Tooth. This is your value play of the day, back in the Robbie Bales, or still in the Robbie Bales barn. Gets Dennis Araujo again today, where Dennis Araujo has gotten this horse's last 2 wins.
Yeah. We'll see. I tell you, it has to improve, no doubt about it. Has to get better. But Badger Tooth with a row, 2 for 2 on this horse. I like the forward work coming into it. A bullet 3/4, 15 and change. There is a little flow in here. Mr. Mosley, I think, has got to go inside. So Stimulus Maker may not have things so easy up front. I think he'll prompt and shake away. I like Badger that go back on his page. He's got runs to go ahead and make that steady progression and collar the leaders late. He's going to need a top. I think we might get it at a square price.
There we go. You have number 8 right on the inside underneath Stimulus Maker Hugh McMahon. This is my single on my ticket for Louis Batista. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It is the real obvious horse to go for.
Perfect draw. We'll get a similar trip again. We saw that last time out, December 2nd, 3 wide quarter, drove clear, sitting just off the pace. I don't know if he's quite as fast as Mr. Mosley. He can be right there.
Right.
I certainly think Batista's going to put him into the race early. I like the way Aristocat came back out of that race to run to. On a little bit of a raise, 16-2 in life. That was a good number. So, yeah, Stimulus Maker is a pace factor a long way in here. What about the 4s of price?
I was just going to say, I should have put the 4 up a little bit more. I should have switched around. I'm going to stick with my picks, but if you want to take a stab at a 6-1, I'm going to go ahead with Blame It on the Fun for a little bit of a value play. Donald Barr, William Humphrey, they do have a really good role going together. So you've got this horse breaking the maiden and then getting the score next time out. But then you do a really big jump up on and off track, and then what you do is you send the horse. So that's exactly what happened there. That horse wanted no part of being any type of speed situation. If you look at this horse's form, every time this horse has been sent to the lead, he has said, no, thank you, sir. And I think we get back obviously to a favorable level, and then we're probably going to get back. William will probably get his way and get to ride this horse like he wants to, which is just a bit off of the pace, which this track is playing just fine with that type of style.
You weren't talking to my buddy Joe Gass this morning, were you?
No.
Yeah, he liked this horse at a price, too. Blame
Good.
it on
Go
the
for
fun.
it, Joe.
You're right, and that was the key. Just take a rating hold and maybe draft in position, save ground. That was a reach last time out against that group. Yep. Okay.
We'll be right back after this commercial to talk about the rest of the races that we've got going on for Sunday.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
A fun showdown coming up in the 6th race in this maiden claiming 45 between Urinalysis and Celtic Cousin, number 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and Keith, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the one that you have underneath for Brittany Russell in this nice little run that we've got going on we're about to see.
Urinalysis, right?
Yes.
That's what they kind of come up with me. Say after some of these bad morning lines, we're going to have to anyhow, go ahead.
Talk about the race.
Yeah, Urinalysis. Anyhow, it was a little bit rank early on, and then real keen. It drug its rider up into position while saving ground. Got into a little tight spot into the turn. You saw that weight into the stretch. Was able to find that seam, moved inside of rivals. You got to remember, the 18th of November, we had that as like a negative inside. So he was on it a long way with some adversity, had to steady. He was eager. Now he's third-time starter. Brittany Russell, 38% with the maidens making their third start with a $2.19 ROI.
Hey.
So, yeah, turning back to the 7/8, I think he'll be charging at the speed test. He could be a little bit forward. I mean, he was so keyed up last time. It looked like he wanted to just drag that rider right to the lead.
No, but that's good. I love that. I love that. Love that. I love a strong horse that's sitting in the middle of the pack behind horses because an opening is going to come up. It's just a matter of he was in the right spot where the field is going to break apart at that right type of place where the horse was at last time out. So love that trip. Hope I get to see it again. We'll have a little bit more of a punch, maybe if he could maybe take the outside path instead of the inside path in between horses. But we'll see what Toledo does with that. But let's talk about your top picks. Celtic Cousin for Hammy Smith. Jaime Rodriguez, game effort last time out.
2-5 last time. Let a lot of people down. Hard ridden is the short comment. That's the key here. In debut, this horse got position without a ton of asking and was sitting behind a pretty good pace and finished up. 47, okay, moderate pace maybe, and finished up quite gamely. That horse, Debit Car, came back to run like an 80-something bar against Sulove Barbados in a really good battle at Charlestown. Comes back last time out on the night. He just didn't seem to grab the track. The track was listed as good. Was it sealed? Something wasn't clicking with this guy early, and Rodriguez just had to stay into him. He made a little move in between. Slim lead, leaving the 8th pole. Thought he was going to get it done, but From got it done that day. If he takes to this track, I think he might even have a little bit more speed than some of these. He's into the race early and stays around. His brother was pretty good. Hunter Joe was very quick. Also a gelding when he was gelding turned on. So I think I'll forgive him for that last because of the track. We won't forgive him today, if he doesn't show up today.
Ouch.
That's it. Well,
okay.
Yeah, we'll forgive him, but yeah, I
Still
think
a
you're
good effort.
you're going to see a little bit better. I think Celtic Cousin today.
Sure. Okay, perfect. I love it. Well, let's talk about Union League a little bit for Graham Motion. Gets Angel Cruz today. So interestingly enough, I'm sure Toledo got the offer to ride this horse, but he opted for he had to opt for the Brittany Russell horse. Why not? So that was a tough decision to make, but in the right spot in that time on the 1-turn mile last time out. So you just take that real estate away, and this horse is in a perfect type of winning position.
Yep, out of the race with your analysis. Got the jump on that one. I still think had just a much cleaner trip that day. Second off the bench, might be a little bit tighter, hold a little bit better, especially on this turn. But it's a good race, these three. I couldn't find anybody outside of those three.
Right.
Again, that's blow up city for your multi-race wagers if you can kind of conquer those three.
I do want to see your
maybe
quick
the
take
one
on
was a sneaky.
I want to see your take on the one.
Yeah,
Originalist coming
that's
off of the layoff for Mike Trombetta.
Yeah, that's that Trump. A long layoff, they don't drop. Full Sis Continental Congress was able to go longer and ran well. Past his prelude was pretty much speed. That mare was pretty quick. But the protect move here still working forwardly. That may be that outsider. So if you can stretch a ticket, to include that one, go ahead and do it. You might have to trim down some
Maybe
of those other races.
Went a bit wider on that race instead of my 3. Race number 7 is where I get a little bit insane on my ticket, and I go super wide because I couldn't quite figure this out, but I still land in similar numbers to yours, which helps me out a little bit. Let's take a look, and actually let's take a video look at your top selection, number 4, up against it for Damon Dilo DeVico, J. Ron Barbosa.
Yeah, we're going to go back a little bit, a couple months, right? September, and boom. First time Damon stumbling off of a race at Timonium.
2 stumbles,
technically. And I tell you, good effort. I thought ran okay at Timonium, right? But came back and I thought ran really strong here. Was able to recover, work that kind of wide trip early, unfortunate wide, and then shift out again. So, of course, ground loss key for up against it. But, man, the way he was able to sustain against this group, I mean, you've got For Love of Country right back in you today. So, why not? I'll just toss the race in October on the turf. We talk about that later in the turf season. That turf course will yield inexplicable results. Some horses just don't take to it.
Yeah.
He didn't run a lick, right? 13th beating 25.
Right.
I'll go ahead and forgive that. He's got the right kind of post with 2 speeds inside For Love of Country. Frosted Indian will kind of go Thorny Tail Legs because I think with a clean break, he just sits in there and gets in a pocket and then works it out from the 3/8 home.
Well, on top of that, I was also looking at Barbosa at the 3/8, just bellied down, really starting to push on this horse already. So he had, and I feel like Barbosa felt he had to do that because of what happened at the break, and then he was positioned forward. So he's like, why not, really get going off of this horse and just kind of run with it. But yeah, I completely missed that, Keith, which is why I'm still scratching my head. Hopefully, I believe I do have that on my ticket. But let's talk about the Lacey Guidet horse For Love of Country, Johan Rosado. I'm not going to say disappointing effort last time out, but the 9 mile and 1/8 distance might not have helped him out that day.
Maybe just was a little too much. Early press, then went clear and just couldn't cut quite. Okay horses in front of him. Shortening up that shorter run, I think, works to his advantage. I don't think he necessarily needs to lead. Maybe he lets a 3 go, but he's going to get forward position. He's got to get through the first quarter without any real hiccups. And if he does, I think he holds form. Like he's done a good job with his horse off the claim.
You talked about Thorny Tail a little bit with Jamie Ness. This horse, I mean, it's hard to argue against this horse, which is why I was just like, let's put this guy on top. Still coming over a nice run from Laurel from that other nice Parks effort. So Jamie Ness with these horses coming over from Parks to Laurel, that's backing up, but just the obvious kind of go-to for this race.
Yeah, just crazy. Nobody jumped in at Parks for 15, right? He's won 4 of his last 5. I will say, a recent top 85 last. I want to see him pair it up. We'll see. I think this field is a little tougher than what he beat last time out, and he got a great trip inside out trip. You couldn't ask for a better trip there. But I just think from a betting standpoint, he'll be used. underneath. I think he might even come down a little bit off of that morning line. Nest Barn rolling along, though. Yep.
4256 for Keith Fustel in the feature race, and race number 7. Our nightcap here for Sunday racing here in Maryland is a claiming 12-5 for the 3-year-old, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Keith, you've got Blame the Bourbon on top as your top selection. Ben Feliciano Jr., J-Ron Barbosa, a nice enough effort, but just no match.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of a default pick. I don't love this race. It just really kind of messed with my head.
Yeah.
Even doing the line, but Barbosa, I'll trust. Will get position. Held pretty good against a horse that was dropping. That was a Kentucky horse that was, I guess, claimed down there for Ness. It was first time Ness on the drop.
Right.
He just galloped. Thought the horse ran okay. I think again it gets put into the race and stays around. I don't particularly love anybody. I think the 6 is a little bit of a sneaky long shot. First time Lasix, kind of got an overland trip from the 3/8 pole home, 2 back, and just kind of tossed it in early. We'll see if the Lasix can pick this one back up. 7-5-4-6. Do we have a video on Dart or no?
We do.
We do. Let's go ahead and show that. This is going to go second time. Kieran reported gelding for the first time as well. Got a battle kind of up in front last time out. Saved ground every step of the way, kind of a steady run. I thought was okay. You should maybe project a little bit of improvement. We'll see. Only not. And listen, Kieran's Barn's been doing great. He's only 1 for 14 the last couple of years, second off the claim with the maiden claimers.
Okay.
All right. So, that's just kind of maybe a funky stat. But he's got speed to target in here because I think the 1's going to go, the 2's going to go, and the 7's going to be forward. So would not be a surprise, and even the 3, that he gets it done. The 5, Smart and Fast, you've got in the mix. I'm going to use that one second. Closing in, Jorge Hernandez. This is a jockey we have followed and rooted on a lot. The races after the races, we show the South America races. He comes up from Argentina, and we're like, is this the same Jorge Hernandez?
It is.
And it was. And Bill, my partner, he is a huge fan. I mean, if they do like a poster, Jorge, he wants an autograph. He wants his program signed. I think.
Oh, perfect. Because
by Jorge Hernandez.
We'll see. He's in 3.
Rides hard.
He rides hard. He's in 3 today.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But if he does, it'll be his first win in North America, which will be super duper exciting.
Yes.
And there we go. Keith Fustel, 7-5-4-6. I go 2-4-7-5. In our nightcap of Sunday racing, we're going to head over to Dave Rodman for some changes and scratches.
Can we give a best bet real quick or no?
Sorry about that. Yes, best bet,
here
value
we go.
play.
Best bet, 25. Second race, the 5, Viking Queen. Value play, 59, Badger Tooth. May not win it, using your exactest tries and supers. And thanks again, was up at the Greenmount OTB last night.
There you
go.
If
you get a chance to go up there and bet the races, you got to go up there one time.
I do. I need to go make a visit.
We were betting horses and watching a little football. So good spot there, Dave Richardson and Chris Richards. Good stuff.
Recommendation from Keith Fustel. Now let's head over to Dave Rodman.